Roman Rudin. Strange occurrence in the region of the heart. So we're still reading The Wind in Rome. We've divided this into 7 parts, and we're now on the very final and seventh part. As a very brief overview, so in this story, we come to the point where the emperor is chasing his wife. Now, the wife has run away to protect their son. And at this point, the emperor's caught up, it seems, with his wife, and she's on one island and he is on another, adjacent island. Well, it might be that there's an inlet between the two of them. Um, okay, I'll read from here then down to the bottom, as this is a little bit, we read this last time, but it will help us to get a feel for this story for this week. And I'll turn over the page and there'll be 2 more after the one we're reading here, and that will be the end of the story. So here we go. The next few days, and it may be many more, I spend in unconsciousness and fear. A plunge in cold water can sometimes have such an effect. Every night I see a mirror across the inlet. The moon at her back wanes ever smaller, while the cocoon of hair on her head, which conceals within it our child, grows in size. I already know this vision to be entirely the fruit of my sickness. But still I continue to go out onto the shore to succumb to my wrath, to yell out my threats. My anger leaves me along with the air from my lungs. Together they transform into a terrible wind which causes the fish to leap from the water and the birds to freeze on the wing. The wind fetters the waters of the inlet in ice, and then the whole sea too. Amira waits every time for the icy hurricane to end, and all the while her face, her eyes, her hands, so tenderly supporting her hair, shine with warmth and radiate heat all around, despite my wrath. The hurricane brings her no harm. The chill winds pass to one side. Every time when the ice mounds reach her feet, Amira sighs, her breath gives rise to a breath, and this warm wind instantly melts away the ice I created. Of course, for a long time I have known what love is, but I have never before had cause to see what love looks like from the outside. I have seen before how the storm is born from anger, yet I have never even suspected that there might exist a force capable of taming it. All this I observe lying lifeless on the sand, for as soon as I cease my yelling, I fall breathless onto the shore. My oarsmen once more light a fire. Once more they carry me away deep into the interior of my island, where I come to my senses, only for it all to repeat once more when night falls. Sometimes I feel better, and I attempt to compel my men to row further to overcome at last that final barrier which separates me from my son, whom I have not once seen since Amira took him away from me. But my oarsmen simply shake their heads and say something about our boat, about broken oars, and more often lately they try and tell me something about wind, sails, and triremes. Yet I do not understand what they mean, even though I know all there is to know about wind, about sails, and about triremes. There are days when I feel perfectly fine, and then I make my way to that shore on my island, which is closest to the start of my journey, closest to Rome. Along the way, I encounter goats with milk-swollen udders, palm trees laden with fruit ripe for the picking, burbling streams of clear, fresh water. When I come out onto the shore, I look for a long time out over the endless sea that separates me from Rome, as though I am waiting for the arrival of good news from home, and my longing never strikes me as strange. And then one night I'm woken by the sound of a voice I do not know, a voice which gives rise to a true gale. Through the angry squalls of this wind, I make my way to the shore and see Amira looking at me across the inlet. Her gleaming red bronze hair fans out in the wind, and her arms cradle an infant. My son is wailing so hard that I can barely stay on my feet in the wind. I'm laughing with happiness. All the troubles of the past are forgotten, all save one, but that too soon passes into nothingness. I see sails appear from behind the island on which Amira stands, and one after another, ships sail into view. I try to count them, but lose my place as soon as I see my elder son standing on the deck of the trireme closest to me. Now I know who will lead the new imperial navy to my city. Now I know that the dog's howl and the snake's hiss will vanish from its streets and from under the vaulted ceilings of my palaces. Just as I know full well that the sails of my city's ships will never now be forsaken by the wind that rises here at the very end of the earth, the wind that rises in the dark of the freezing nights and in the heat of the noonday sun, the wind that rises in ice-cold rage and in incandescent love.